Hello everyone, I am here with another of my tutorial videos. This is on one of the recent article which I had recently published on how to configure different types of network in Oracle VirtualBox. So let's try to see what all the options we have to configure different types of network using VirtualBox, and maybe then you can decide based upon your requirement which option you should choose. Okay, so I have a VirtualBox with me over here, and I have created two virtual machines. Both are running on RHEL 7.4, 4 or 3, but yeah, RHEL 7. Okay, let's start with the options what we have. If I go to machine settings, network, you can see all the list of network options what you can use and select to configure a network. Let us start with the NAT, as we see is the first one. Click on NAT, save OK. I'll do the same for another VM of mine, network, and then NAT. Click OK. Now to get a new IP address, I will do a release of my existing IP and run DHC client in verbose mode. Now this will give me the new IP as per the network configuration I have selected. For NAT, I have got 10.0.2.15, so my interface is bounded to this particular IP address. Let's do the same on another VM of mine. I'll release the IP address and we'll try to get a new one. Okay, so as you see over here also I get the same IP address, which is 10.0.2.15. Now this is pretty much expected with the NAT configuration what is explained in this chapter. In NAT mode, the guest network interface is assigned to the IPv4 range 10.0.x.0/24 by default, where x corresponds to the instance of the NAT interface plus 2. So if we have only one NAT instance active, in that case the guest operating system will always get an IP of 10.0.2.15, which is with our case, as we can see. So with this option, let's see what all is achievable and why should we use this. I've created a short table which can be used as a reference to see the various options what we have with this NAT. Okay, so can VM connect to the host using NAT? Let's see. My host IP address, if you would like to check, it is 192.168.1.4. so let's just go inside and check if I can ping. Yes, my client VM can ping the host IP address. I hope the same is possible from the other VM what I have with the same network. Yes, it is reachable. So what we have written is correct. The VM can connect to the host. Can host connect to the VM? Let's validate that. As you see, we are getting a request timed out, so we are not able to reach our VM. Can VM connect to the external network? Yes, our VM is able to connect to the internet using our host network. So that's yes. Can VM connect another VMs in the same network? I doubt that is possible because both the VMs are using the same IP address, so that is not possible. If I ping to 10.0.2.15, it would be like pinging the loopback address, the local host, so that would not work over here. Can other computers on the host network connect VM? I suppose that should also be no, because our current host is not able to reach to the VM, so it is quite obvious that other other laptops in my Wi-Fi network will also do the same. It will show a request timeout. Okay, that's all about NAT. Let's go to the next network configuration what we have and introduced not very long before. It was not there in earlier older Oracle VirtualBox software versions, but in recent one they have introduced this new option NAT network, which is pretty much the same as NAT. Now let's try to understand the difference. To create a NAT network, first we'll have to create some custom networks which can be used to serve the purpose. To do that, we'll go to File, Preferences, come to the network, and as you can see, I have created some custom networks which I will be using to demonstrate this option. Just to give a brief how to create a new network, click on Add New NAT Network. As you see, this is created. I'll go to Edit, and over here you can define the subnet range what you want to allocate to your VMs. You can rename the network name as you wish. Supports DHCP, this is very much needed so that it can act as a DHCP server, and we'll just click on OK and it will be saved. But for now we already have a lot of networks, so I'll just remove this one. For this article I'll be using my lab. Let's see the network details. It is having 192.168.100.0 as the subnet range. Okay, so that is what we are going to use. I've saved it. We'll just change the network option what we were using from NAT to NAT network. You can see a drop down menu with all the list of custom networks what I have created. I'll use my lab. Click on OK, and again I'll repeat the same set of steps to release the IP address and get a new one. As you see, it is trying to fetch a new IP address. In the meanwhile, let me repeat the steps over here. From NAT to NAT network, my lab is selected. Click on OK. Let us refresh the IP address. Okay, so we have a IP which is bounded to our interface, that is 192.168.100.4, and here we have 100.5. so let's open our Word and try to go through each of the options. Okay, so can VM connect to the host? Let's validate that. If you remember, this was my host Windows IP, and yes, I am able to connect to my host machine, so that's a yes. Can host connect to the VM? Let's validate that. I assume we are getting a request timeout. Yes, it's a request timeout, so no, we are not able to connect to the VM. Can VM connect to the external network? Let's check that. Yes, we are able to connect to the external network, so that's a yes. Can VM connect other VMs in the same network? Now this is one enhancement what we can consider with this NAT network. In the earlier option it was no, so let's check if it works this time. The IP address of this is 100.4, so the other was 100.5. yes, we are able to connect, and I would assume it will work vice versa. Yes, so we have one additional enhancement with this option over here. The VMs are able to connect, so it's a yes. Can other computers on the host network connect VM? I would assume the answer would be same as this one. If our host cannot connect, I'm pretty much sure other laptops in my network will also do the same. It will do a request timeout while connecting to these VMs. Next option what I see over here is bridged network, so let's change the network settings and select the bridged adapter. Over here we can see two options for us. I will use the Centrino Advanced. This is my Wi-Fi driver adapter which we are using to connect to the internet, so I'll use this interface. Click OK, and let's do a refresh. Okay, let's do the same in the meanwhile on the other VM as well. Go to bridged, we'll use the same interface adapter. Click OK, clean the screen and release the IP address. Look up a new IP address. Okay, so now we have an interface bounded to 192.168.1.7 and the other VM is bounded to 1.6. Now if you remember, my host IP over here was 1.4. So as you see with bridged adapter, what we have right now is a set of VMs will act as a host machine, as if it was sitting on the network, but in actual these are my VMs. If I check my router over here, okay, as you see, these two IP addresses are the one which are recently added. If you see, 1.4 is my actual host with this MAC addresses, and .6 and .7 are recently added but are using the same MAC address as my host adapter is having. So you see, it looks like these are sitting on the network, but in actual it is using my host network. Now this is very good actually in terms of creating an internal network where you want to connect to these VMs. You can create a Apache page, or where something like a cluster can be created, where you can do stuffs which needs intercommunications between multiple set of VMs. Clustering is one good example. So if you see over here, with this almost everything would be possible. I will be able to reach to my host IP. Let's go through the table to checklist all the options what we have. So can VM connect to the host? Yes, we just validated it. This is my host IP. Can host connect to the VM? Let's validate that. Yes, I am able to ping both the IPs, which is good. Can VM connect to the external network? Yes, I am able to connect to the external network. Can other computers on the host network connect VM? I'm quite sure yes, this should be possible, because for them also it would look like these are some new laptops maybe I have purchased, and they are sitting on the same network using the same Wi-Fi, and they are using the same network and the same gateway router for getting the internet connection. So yes, these would be able to connect to other laptops in the same network. But there is one catch over here actually. With bridged network, suppose you are on a VPN, there are chances that you will not be able to connect to the external network, because VPN blocks those network activity over here, because your router will not be reachable. Your VPN will act as a router in that case. So in such cases, it is advised that you create two interface on your VMs, wherein one will be configured with bridged network for internetworking between all the VMs, and other would be NAT, wherein a NAT will be used to connect to the internet. So that works most of the cases. I personally use that when connecting to the VPN. So that's just a hint for you guys if you are using a VPN on your laptop. Okay, so moving forward, internal network. Let's switch our network option. If you see in the internal network, I have one option with me, my lab, coming up over here, but this might not be there with you. What I have done to get that is, we have to go into the CLI mode once. For this, if you go to my page, I have given the syntax and the commands which can be used to create an internal network.